Good morning, and thank you for joining us for user-generated contract content turning customers into advocates. Today is January 4th, 2023, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. My name is Nick Fry, and I'm the manager of Tourism Nova Scotia's Business Development Unit. And Tourism Nova Scotia works with communities and industry to attract visitors to the province and increase tourism revenues through experience and sector development, business coaching, marketing, and visitor servicing. So happy that you could join us today. And anything we may or may not discuss, we will share after the fact. So if there's a link or resource that Ingrid mentions, we'll share it out in an email. The webinar will be recorded, so if you want to share with an industry colleague or you want to go back and review it, it will be available within 24 hours. And also, all great webinars are, propelled through great questions. So if you have any questions throughout, please put it in the Q&A at the bottom. And if there's any questions that we're not able to answer at the time, we'll share after the fact, and we'll make sure that we get them answered. This partnership, this webinar today is offered through a partnership with Digital Nova Scotia. So I'm hoping you came here through Digiport. Digiport is a one-stop shop of interactive services that help tourism businesses interact with educational opportunities, develop digital marketing skills, and access professional services to improve their online performance. You can sign up at nsdigiport.ca, and there's so many valuable resources there. I really hope you do check that out. Now, I'd like to invite Ingrid Deon to the screen. She's the owner of WordCraft, founder and CEO. It's a social media marketing agency headquartered in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. We've been lucky enough to have Ingrid present to us many other times, as well as be a featured presenter at our digital days across the province. The specialty of WordCraft is organic social media strategy, content creation, and community management. And when you hear Ingrid present, you really understand that she knows the topic, understands it, and has worked with huge corporations like Nestle, Manulife, RBC Wealth Management, and small businesses and organizations across the province. So happy that Ingrid was able to find time to come today. We'd like to invite Ingrid to share the screen, and if there's any questions, of course, please ask throughout.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. Here we go. Thanks. Yeah, thanks so much. And I'm thrilled to be joining you. Thanks to Digital Nova Scotia and Tourism Nova Scotia for having me. I love doing these things, super fun, and love talking to different tourism operators about social media. Social media is what I love, and you'll notice I get very excited about it. So looking forward to talking to you about this today. We're talking about user-generated content, which is a great way to reach your audience and get some social proof. So without spending any money. So we're going to talk about how to do it on the cheap and how to get people talking about your business or your organization. So we'll dive right into it because I know we just have an hour. So first of all, what is user-generated content, also referred to as UGC, and why the heck does it matter? So essentially, user-generated content is unpaid or unsponsored content that your customers create about your company or organization. So when someone posts a photo or a video to social media, to their website, to a blog, wherever it is, we're particularly talking about social media here today. But whenever they post content about your business or organization, and you didn't particularly ask them to do it, that is essentially user-generated content. So think reviews, photos, videos on social media. And the great thing about it is, like I mentioned, it helps with social proof. So it's real, it's authentic, it adds to your credibility because it's not just you talking about how great your business or organization is. It's someone else saying, I've been there, it's great, this is what I did, this is why it's cool. So it's really priceless, a priceless nugget of advertising that you can use in your marketing strategy. Now the challenge, of course, is getting it, getting people to talk about you, but we'll talk about how to do that, some tactics. So this is an example of what I mean when I talk about user-generated content. This is from our friends at Tourism Nova Scotia. So they tend to post quite a bit of user-generated content. People are posting beautiful photos, beautiful videos of Nova Scotia, and Visit Nova Scotia will then grab a photo, credit the person who took it, and post it on their feed. So this is just one beautiful shot of the Cabot Trail. So that is a great example of UGC. This is what we're talking about. And I know Nick mentioned if there's any questions, like feel free to put them in the chat anytime, and Nick will interrupt me, and that is 100% okay with me, because I want to answer any burning questions that come up. So if you have any questions, just plop them in there. So user-generated content is social proof. People will take what you say about your company or organization maybe with a grain of salt, because of course you love your business, you love the organization that you work for, and of course you're going to say that it's great, so maybe they'll take it with a grain of salt. But if it's coming from a customer or someone who is completely unrelated to the business or organization, it's really a great second opinion that reinforces your message. And it's also free. Yay! I mean, you can spend money on influencers, and the sky's the limit with the number that you can spend, but you can also do this super on the cheap. If someone else is creating the content, not only is it free in money, it's also free in time. So that's a beautiful thing for a lot of us who are time stretched. So if someone's posting content, that is content that you don't have to create. Someone else has already done it. They've taken a beautiful photo, they've taken a beautiful video for you. You don't have to spend that time to create it. You're not spending money on setting up the shot, getting a photographer, whatever. It's great. So if someone is posting about your business or organization, take advantage of it, use it, and we'll talk about how to use it, because there are a few little things that you want to keep in mind. But yeah, anytime someone's posting about your business or organization, you want to leverage that. Not only is it great for you, but it also makes the person who has taken the photo or the video or written the review feel special, because you're using the content that they've created. So that's cool. So how do you get user-generated content? This is the big question. So I've got 5 tips on how to get it. So listen up, we'll go through them. The first one, top of the page, ask for reviews. So you can ask for reviews anywhere, whether it's a review on Facebook, whether it's a review on your Google My Business, or your page on Google. I think they changed the name of it. It used to be called Google My Business. TripAdvisor, Yelp, or just, signing your guest book and writing a review that way. Or if you have an Airbnb, maybe you're asking you want the feedback there, that's a review. So all of these are different forms of reviews. Text reviews, so it's not a photo and it's not a video, so but they're still very, very useful. And I can show you here how we've leveraged one. So this is a restaurant that we work with here in Yarmouth County. Their food's amazing. So it's the Red Cap, and we used a review from TripAdvisor, which you can see in the caption. The restaurant menu is varied, but our favorite is the haddock with lobster sauce from Ann. And then we've said, you're not the only one, Anne. Try it for the first time or the 40th time. It's just as good every time. And then we paired it with a photo that we've taken of their haddock with lobster sauce, because the review didn't come with a photo. So that's a way that you can leverage a review that's just text, and it's user-generated content, and it acts as social proof because it's someone else saying that it's their favorite dish. It's not you saying it. And it's super easy, especially if you have the photos. I see that Emily has asked, do you need permission from the poster to use TripAdvisor reviews? Often, oh, sorry. When there's a site that offers reviews, and I can't get rid of my little block of the chat. There, okay. When someone posts a review on a review site, whether it's TripAdvisor, Yelp, Facebook, Google, they are usually clicking on something that they don't own the rights to, that whatever they've written, like you can use it in any way you want. So I would say you don't have to get explicit permission to use the quote. And you can just use it however you want. And that's a good thing, because on a lot of these platforms, there's no way of reaching out to the person if you have no idea who they are. I usually will use their first name and last initial, just in case they don't want to be identified. So that's why we have this one as NR. So fair game to use the text. Like I mentioned, I would use first name, last initial, or just use initials. We could have put AR. And even if someone posts a photo, I believe, like if they post a photo on like Google reviews or TripAdvisor, we don't usually use them unless we can ask for permission. I'm assuming they probably rescind their rights when they're posting it. But we tend to, either if we can identify them, we'll try to figure out a way to reach out to them. Because it doesn't have like the private function message like on most social media platforms. But the text is fair game. There's another question. Oh, Allison says she's hungry for the red cap. Totally relate. I am also hungry for the red cap. Today's their first day that they're open post holidays. So, so that's the text review. You can also create a graphic, like with Canva. There are all kinds of different templates that you can use where you can put the text in a graphic instead of pairing it with one of your own photos. So that's another option for leveraging text reviews. But again, they are great. It's a great form of user-generated content that's pretty easy to leverage. It doesn't involve people, creating photos or videos. All right. Next, how to get UGC. Use a branded hashtag. So if your organization or company, so each when you're creating your social media account, you can create a branded hashtag. I'll show you the example of Tourism Nova Scotia. Their branded hashtag is hashtag Visit Nova Scotia. You can create one for your organization or business, whatever the name is. Like my business is WordCraft, could be hashtag WordCraft. And then you can go and search for that hashtag, and you can find user-generated content that people have created on Instagram, let's say, or on Twitter. I don't know if anyone's using Twitter now, but there you have it. Or yeah, those are primarily the different or on Threads, I guess, Instagram's version of Twitter. Create a branded hashtag. You can put it in your bio like Tourism Nova Scotia has done here. And then everyone knows that if they're creating content and they use hashtag Visit Nova Scotia, there's a chance that Tourism Nova Scotia could use it. They could feature you. So we've done that with a lot of our clients. We've put it in the bio, use hashtag blah, blah, blah to be featured. And we'll search through, on a twice weekly basis, search that hashtag, see if anything's new, and see if there's anything that we could use. So that's one way of getting user-generated content. A lot of people will tag you as well. So they'll tag you and they'll also use the hashtag. But if they don't tag you, then you can find content that's created about your organization or your business by searching for that branded hashtag. Just make sure you put it somewhere like in your bio, so that people know to use that hashtag if they're going to post about you. There are also other, if you want to create content and you want to be featured, like if you're posting about your business or organization and you would love the exposure of an organization like Tourism Nova Scotia, you can use other organizations' branded hashtags. So there are different hashtags for different regional tourism organizations, as well as most regions have a branded hashtag. I know the region where I am in Yarmouth County, there's Visit Yaz, so Yarmouth and Acadian Shores. If you use that branded hashtag, then Yarmouth and Acadian Shores could potentially feature your business or organization on their account, which will get you extra exposure. So that's another way that you can leverage branded hashtags. And if there are different ones for each region of the province. So branded hashtag, asking for reviews. Another way to get user-generated content is to launch a contest or a challenge. And so I have a lot to say about contests. I don't know how much time I have, but one way that you can get user-generated content through a contest is to give people the incentive of a prize, of course, and ask them to create content about your business or organization. So they could do that by using a branded hashtag. I'll show you an example. This is over in New Brunswick. Excellence NB did this Explore NB Excellence Challenge. So essentially, they want people to travel throughout New Brunswick, use this hashtag when they're posting about where they've been, when they're posting photos or videos, and then Excellence New Brunswick aggregated all of the different people who use that hashtag and drew for a winner. This also generated tons of great user-generated content of people exploring New Brunswick. So this is a great way that you can use a branded hashtag and a contest. So you create a branded hashtag and ask people to use it and give them the incentive of a prize. And then you'll get all kinds of user-generated content that you can then leverage on your own channels. So anyone can do this. It doesn't have to be a province. It can be a museum, it can be a restaurant, it can be accommodation, it can be anything at all. So you're visiting us this summer, use this branded hashtag. We'll choose a winner at the end of August or something. Great way of generating loads of user-generated content. You'll see it just flying in. And then you can search that hashtag and see all of the different times that people have used it. This is particularly, I should mention, effective on Instagram. Branded hashtags and hashtags in general don't work as well on Facebook. That's because a lot of private personal accounts have privacy settings where not everyone can see their posts. So if you use a branded hashtag on Facebook and you haven't enabled that anyone can see what you're posting, then the brand that you're hashtagging probably can't see it. So you're not going to actually be entered. So this is more effective on Instagram, where you have a public profile, you use the hashtag and anyone can see it. Hashtags are a lot harder to search over on Facebook. Just so you know. But this is super effective on Instagram. Another way to get user-generated content is to work with influencers. And there is a 3-part series of webinars that's coming up through Digiport this month that I'm doing about working with influencers on the cheap. And so just wanted to tease this slightly, but it's a great way of getting user-generated content. It's not always going to be free. Some influencers require payment of some kind, whether it is like a trade offering them some free merch or a free experience in exchange for some user-generated content, or sometimes they require payment. But there are also ways of doing it on the cheap by working with very small influencers, or maybe folks who aren't necessarily influencers, like they wouldn't call themselves an influencer, but maybe they're local to your area and you've seen that they've posted really beautiful photos on their own Instagram account or on their own social media accounts. They post really cool videos, really beautiful photos, and you can ask them, you know, if I give you a certain experience, would you be able to create some content in exchange for it? So that's a great way of working with influencers and getting some user-generated content without spending a lot of money. Here's an example that we did. I used to work with Digby Pines. We did a partnership with Dashboard Living. There are some influencers in Nova Scotia. And so they created a bunch of content for an event that was around local books and local authors. So that was great. They did a contest. You don't necessarily have to do a contest with them, but they created a lot of content about the event itself and about the books and about the authors. So that was a great partnership. And know that posting user-generated content encourages more user-generated content. So we work with some brands that have a lot of user-generated content. A lot of fans create content about them. We work with this brand called Fatso Peanut Butter. They're a Canadian peanut butter brand. And it's called Fatso, which is kind of hilarious, but it's because it uses a lot of good fats. It's delicious. So, but they have tons of people who are creating content about their product. They're making recipes with the peanut butter. And because we're constantly sharing user-generated content from other creators, it's kind of like a snowball where more people are creating more content for the brand because they see other people being featured, so they want to be a part of that as well. So if you have a pretty large following, people will probably be more encouraged to create content about your company or your organization because they want to be featured. They want you to share their content. They want you to tag them so that they can reach even more people. So it's like a give and take. It's, you know, they're creating content for you. You're exposing them to your audience. They like that exposure. Yeah, it's a great little partnership. So when people see that you're posting a lot of user-generated content, they might want to be a part of that as well and create some user-generated content for you. So definitely jump on the bandwagon of sharing posts that people are creating about your business or organization. So that is how to get the user-generated content. And then how do you find and use it? So we've gone through some of this. Like searching, like number 2, searching for your branded hashtag, searching for the branded hashtag on Instagram in particular to see if people are using it and if people are posting content about it. But another one is definitely to check your direct messages, check your DMs, check your private messages, check your notifications, check your tagged posts, and do this on a regular basis. This is super important because if someone posts about your business or organization on Instagram stories, they will disappear in 24 hours and you've missed your window to share it. So check on a daily basis, check your DMs, check your notifications. And when I say check your tagged posts, over on Instagram, if you go to your profile, it's the little icon. I don't know if you can see this. It's the little icon with the person. So that shows posts where you've been tagged. And yeah, so check all of these things on a daily basis. And then if someone posts a story where they've tagged you, or if they've posted a grid post where they've tagged you, or they've posted a reel where they've tagged you, you can share it to your stories. And you can do that without asking for permission or anything. If you're just sharing it to your stories, or if on Facebook someone has tagged your business in a post where they took a photo of a dish at your restaurant, or they took a photo of your museum, you can then share that without asking for permission. They've tagged you, and in the share, you will be linked. People who see the share either on Facebook or a retweet on Twitter or a share on LinkedIn or a posting to stories on Instagram. Their profile is linked there, so people can click on it and go back to the person's profile. You don't need to ask permission to share. So sharing is super easy. You need to ask permission if you're taking that photo and then posting it as your own. That's when you need to ask permission, and you need to credit them. So if someone posts a really beautiful post, whether it's whatever platform it's on, it's a beautiful photo of your organization or your business, and you would like to post that as your own post, so not a share. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Then you want to put in the caption, like we saw Tourism Nova Scotia do, wherever that was, here. So they posted it as their own post, and then they credited the creator here. So this is how you do it. So if you're doing something like this, or if you're posting the image on your blog, or you're posting it on your website or something, you want to ask permission and you want to credit the creator. Just going to see what's going on in the Q&A. When you pay to have photos taken and then you're using them on your social media, should you credit the photographer every time? I tend to do that. We worked with a creator for one of our clients. And anytime we post any of his photos, we always put, at the bottom of the caption, we do a little, like the little photo, the little camera icon, and then we tag him. It depends on whatever arrangement you have with the photographer. Some photographers will, once you've paid for it, they'll give you the rights to it, and it's okay. You don't need to credit them. I would ask the photographer what they prefer. Sometimes they want to be credited every time. Sometimes they don't, and sometimes it's written in your agreement. So it's a kind of a case-by-case basis. But yeah, a lot of the photographers that we work with, we will credit them, or we'll tag them somewhere in the image, just so that they get the credit for it. So I'm sort of jumping around here. I've got the ask permission, we've gone through credit the creator, and sharing, easy. If you're creating a carousel, which is one of those slidey posts on Instagram, or a slideshow, which would be more of a video or a graphic, if you're posting it as your own, I would credit the creator. If it's just a share, you don't have to. Sunny says, Tourism Nova Scotia typically credits photographers as well in our posts, even when we own the rights to the image, but it definitely helps in fostering the relationship with the photographer and gives them more exposure. Totally agree. Yeah, it's kind of the nice thing to do. So yeah, credit them when you can. If there are more questions, we have time here. I know I went through that fast. I wasn't sure exactly how long it would take. But yeah, if you have more questions, please fire them off. We still have 20 minutes. And if you want me to go into more detail about contests, I can. I know we talked briefly about contests. These types of contests where you're asking people to use a branded hashtag and post, they are compliant with rules that Meta has for contesting and for promotions. And if anyone's been to any of my webinars before, you know I always harp on about this, but the contests where you ask people to share and tag a friend, those are not compliant with Meta's contesting rules. So according to their rules, you are not allowed to tag another personal profile to enter, and you're not allowed to use a personal profile to share a post to enter a contest. So those things are not compliant. And if you do that, and I know tons of companies do contests like that, but you are risking losing your accounts because they're not compliant with contest rules. So this type of contest is fine. Contests, typically the ones that we do are comment-based contests where we ask a question in the caption, and every time someone answers that question in the comments, that's an entry into the contest. And then at the end, we export the comments and we choose a winner that way. Not only is that compliant, but it also is a great way of getting some market research. So if you ask a question that you really would like to know about your customers, like, you know, what kind of tours do you like? What's the, well, tell us about your best hotel experience. What dish do you think we should add to our menu? Like different things like that, that you would really love to know. Then you can ask that question in a contest post. People are answering it. You get tons of free market research and people are entering for the chance to win something. So it's kind of a win-win. They don't always get the reach that the share and tag contests get because you're not leveraging other people's accounts by asking them to share a tag. But sometimes people will share them anyways, which is fine. It's just can't be a barrier to entry. And you know, we did one recently. We work with Manulife Bank, and we did one recently where we asked if you could ask a financial advisor one question, what would it be? And we got tons of questions, and that really helps us with creating new blog posts or creating new social media posts that address all of those questions that people have, which is really, really super helpful. Nicole is asking, how can I ask visitors to leave a review? That's a great question. So different ways. If you have a physical location, when people come in, you know, when they're leaving, you can ask them to leave a review on whatever platform you prefer. You can also create social media posts where you're asking people, you know, if you've ever visited us, leave a review. If you have a newsletter list, if you send out regular newsletters, you can also ask people to leave a review. If you send receipts to people, like you're an accommodation or something, if you send them a receipt by email afterwards, in that you can ask people to leave a review. You could offer a prize. You could say, you know, anyone who leaves a review this summer will be entered to win whatever it is. That would be another incentive to get more reviews. Yeah, lots of different ways. Lots of fun. And reviews, like I mentioned, are great because you can use them in so many different ways. and it's, you know, the voice of someone who has been there who says like, this place was great, which is the best kind of advertising you can ask for. Are there other questions now that I've harped on about contests?
So thank you so much, Ingrid. A lot of really great applicable ways to draw in visitors. So if there's not any other questions, I'll take back over, but last chance to get your questions in, and if not, you can share them in on that later. Nothing coming in yet. I'd also plug, and Ingrid may have said something, but if not, Ingrid is available to be booked as a one-on-one session through Digiport. So if you would like to dive a little bit deeper with Ingrid, you can book a session with her through Digiport. And if you have any questions, you can go through the Digiport site and any of their administrators to help you connect with that. So we have one more question come in from Laura Muse. Hey, Laura. Contests, how do you avoid fraud with them?
That's a great question, and it's one that plagues a lot of us who run contests. I have a few tips. One is to not use the word contest or giveaway or win in the caption. We typically will use the word giveaway in the image or on the video if it's a video post, because the bots can't read the images quite as well as they can read the caption. So that tends to limit somewhat the number of fraudulent bots who come in and start targeting all of the people who have entered your contest, it's absolutely horrible. The other way is to, and one thing that we do is we monitor very, very closely the comments. And I know it's impossible to do when you're sleeping, but we have our notifications enabled on our phones. And if we see a bunch of comments coming in all of a sudden, sometimes it'll be spam, it'll be fraud bots, and we'll block them right away. Like nip it in the bud, block them right away, delete whatever comments they've posted. Often I will say, oh, give people, before you block anyone, give them a warning when it comes to like fraud bots on contests. I don't give any warning, I just block them, so that they can't keep doing it. So, but often if you limit the number of like contesty language in the caption, you'll limit the number of bots that find your contest. And I see Danielle also has a question. Do you have a document compiled of giveaway rules? That would be super helpful. That's a great idea. I can totally put one together and send it to Tourism Nova Scotia and they can circulate it. I will write that down right now. Yeah, thanks. That's a great suggestion. And like Nick mentioned, yeah, you can book a one-on-one with me through Digiport, which is great. It's yeah, you get to have a chat with me and ask me all the questions. So feel free to do that anytime.
All right. No other questions are coming in, and again, I do appreciate it. So I'll just take back over. Thank you, Ingrid, for your time. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
What do we hear? We have thanks so much. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen. Thanks, Ingrid. See ya. So I hope you enjoyed today's webinar. We had Ingrid presenting, and we also have a 3-part workshop for from Ingrid, and it's called Influencer Marketing on a Budget. So, if you thought today's session was valuable, if you've been around before and you see what you can learn, this is an opportunity to really dive in deep. It's going to be 3 webinars in a row, January 11th, 18th, and 25th. They're at 10 a.m. Influencer marketing on a budget. Everyone's on a budget nowadays, so tune in and see how you are able to connect with those visitors and do that. So again, sign up through Digiport. Please, if you have any questions about anything that you saw today, send them our way. And again, if there's anything we need to send out after the fact, whether it be a link to this webinar, any software, anything that we talked about, it will come out tomorrow. So please stay connected with us. If you have an idea for our webinar, please send us an email at tnsbusiness@novascotia.ca or send me an email at nick.fry@novascotia.ca. Our corporate website is tourismns.ca. We are a consumer website where we send all of our, our marketing call to action is novascotia.com. If you need to find out any of our news or resources, any of our programming, this webinar, any relevant information we share in our news and resources section. So please check it out there. We are on Twitter or X at stourismns, and our corporate LinkedIn is Tourism Nova Scotia. Thank you so much for joining us and have a great day.